Hey everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Chad Robertson's Fly Tying and Fishing. Today we're going to be tying up a fly called the Montreal whore. Yep, that's what it's called. Anyhow, I've got lots of jokes about it, but I'm going to try to hold off because this is a family-friendly channel, and I don't want to offend anybody too much. So, yeah. So, I've only tied up one of these patterns before. So, they do look promising, especially for brookies, because in my experience with brookie fishing is that the orange really attracts the brookies. So let's have some fun and tie up a Montreal whore. Alright, so to tie this pattern, the first thing of course we're going to do is we're going to wrap our thread. We're going to do our thread base. And we're going to take this pretty much back to the hook bend. And we're going to tie in we're going to do a butt section here with medium French tinsel. So we're going to tie that in. I'm just going to go up a couple turns here. Okay, we're going to start wrapping it in. It can be a bit of a pain in the butt when you have your bobbin right there. Three, 4 turns. It's really all about you're gonna need. And try not to catch your thread on the point of the hook, because that's a great spot to break it. Break your thread. Okay, now that that's wrapped in, I'm going to put this back here. And I'm going to cut, I'm going to run up a bit of thread on the tag end of the tinsel. Take my old scissors and I'm going to just trim it off. I just bought a new pair of scissors today and I don't want to use them for cutting the tinsels. I think I'll just stick to those straight for the thread. Okay, so now that we're there, now the body of this is orange. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tie in a bit of orange floss. What I did today is I went out to a hobby store, and it could be floss that you tie in, or it could be red wool, orange wool. So I went out today and to a craft store and I looked for some heavier embroidery floss or thread, and I found skeins like this. Actually, and it came in a pack of 100, all different colors, for 20 bucks. So I decided to use this stuff on some flies that require like a yarn or a wool, because it is a thicker thread floss type. So I'm going to go with that instead. When I used it earlier on some other flies, I really liked the way it shapes bodies, and it shapes them up pretty quick. But with this one here, all we need to do is cover from here to here. So I'm not too concerned about building a giant or making a tapered body. So then it just hooks in. So I'm going to tie it in just like this. I'll tie it in with a loose wrap first, although I have big fingers, so sometimes it turns into a bit of a pain in the butt. So now I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to run it all the way up to just behind the eye of the hook. I really want to keep that on top. As best as you can. Sometimes you have to fiddle with it a little bit to keep it there, but then you'll see how it's not made for fly tying, this stuff, but it works just fine. I tested it out today just for fun. I tied up a couple little flies just to see how it would work out, and it works out pretty good. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the floss and I'm just going to start wrapping it along the shank of the hook. Let me see how it comes apart a little bit. So for the purpose of this fly, odds are it's going to get hacked up anyways, especially if you're going for brookies. I'd rather not use some nice expensive floss. But that's my opinion. So there, I'm going to end the wrap there. Do a few securing wraps. Trim out the excess. And now I'm just gonna clean that up by just wrapping it like that. I got a straggler in there. Oh well, I can always burn that out later. So you can see it's just a wool body basically. And for this particular pattern, I'm not going to worry about trying to burnish it to try to keep it nice and not lumpy. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tinsel and I'm going to start wrapping it just like this. Kind of like that. Then I'll take my thread and bring it back. Do a crossover wrap. Another crossover wrap. And there we go, and it's locked in. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to cut off the excess. just like that. I'll just do a couple extra securing wraps in here, just like that. So there you go. You got your butt section, you've got your ribs in, and now what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to change it a little bit because I don't have blue bucktail. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take some purple bucktail and red bucktail and I'm going to tie it in. So it's going to go, you can mix it, you can mix the fibers up, but I'm going to put purple down first, then red, and then I'm going to use some strung white marabou to be the wing. So I'm only going to take a few fibers, or a few hair, because it's not a very big hook, it's a size 10, size 10 streamer. So I'm going to cut out some hair, and I'm going to pull out the really long ones, because I don't really want really long hair in there. There's some right there. And take out the shorter pieces that I don't like, and that'll bring down the overall bulk, because I don't want a whole bunch of, I don't want a huge amount of bulk on this fly. There's some shorties that I want in there. And I'm not going to stack them because I think it's better if it's straggly, personally. You don't want to be too far past the hook bend. I think that'll be just fine. You just pinch it in, give it a loose wrap. Make sure it lines up to the way you like it. It's your fly. Now that's locked in. Now I'm just going to cut out the ends, the butt ends. As you can see, it's a pretty sparse wing for the purple bucktail. Now I'm going to take the red and I'm going to try to get, just a few fibers in there as well. Again, I don't want a whole bunch, so I just dropped it. So what I do is I just go through and I take all the fuzz out, take out any long pieces I don't like, and that really knocks down the bulk of it, right? In fact, I have way too much. Again, take out the long ones, the crazy squirrely ones you don't like, broken ones. Be picky, it's your fly. If you want it to be a certain way, make it that way. I'm going to go with very, very few on this one, actually, on the red. So once you get that into position, you can lock it down. See, now it's mixed in. I'm going to bring this right down to the eye. Now I'm going to clip it, clip off the excess. I'm just going to form the head a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I have the red and the purple bucktail mixed in. Yeah, it looks all right. I got some long ones in there and this weird one in there I don't like. So I'll just trim that one out. Okay, so now I got that done. So the red and the purple are in. Now I'm going to take a little bit of white marabou. I'm going to do a little overwing. Now the overwing doesn't have to be overly long. You just want it to be, that looks good there. Again, with marabou, it could be pretty unruly. That looks good. I'm just going to trim that out a little bit. Just like that. Try to trim it at a bit of a taper. So your head will have a nice little taper to it. Just like that. So this is remember, this is a size 10. Size 10 hook. So you don't want too much on it. Now the orange is a real grabber for trout, for brookies, because brookies are technically a char. This is going to be a great fly. I cannot wait to use it. So the only thing left to do on this now is to whip finish it. And then put some head cement on it to glue down the head. So I'm going to finish this off with a 5-turn whip finish. Just like that. Pull everything tight. You want to tie this one pretty sparse. Now, if I were going to go for a bass and tie it on a bigger hook, then I'd go heavier on the bucktail and the marabou, and of course it's going to be a bigger fly. But for what this is, for catching like brook trout or any sort of like rainbows or anything, something like that's perfect. It's got plenty of hook gape in it still, and yeah, I like that fly. So now I'm going to add a little bit of head cement to it, and I'll show you what I do to clear the heads too. I've probably done this before already, but I just don't remember. So I always keep the ends of something like this for the marabou, and I trim the stem down. I'll show you what I do. I'm just going to place it in here. You can either place it or do it after, it makes no difference. Like that. And as I take my head cement, remember, you don't need a whole lot of head cement, just enough to just want to soak it in into the threads, so it goes into the fibers of the feathers and everything else you got locked in there. And just wipe off your bodkin, because you don't need to have a whole lot of build up on your bodkin. It's a pain to scrape off with a razor. There you have it. Just going to run that through. I'll run it through again. And that clears out anything that's in the eye. There we go. The Montreal whore. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a really easy pattern to tie, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to fishing with it. I think it's going to be a great pattern for brook trout, brookies and any other sort of trout. And if I tied it on a bigger hook, I'm sure it'd be great with bass. Anyways, there you go. Easy, quick tie. All right, enjoy and tie one up and get out, get some brookies.